My fiancée texted from her bachelorette party, accidentally slept with my ex. We're getting back together and I am keeping the ring for future. I replied, thanks. Then I emailed the $80,000 ring bill, which was in her name. And then, I, 32 male, am, or rather was, engaged. The wedding was supposed to be in 3 months. Now I'm just sitting in a very quiet condo, looking at a $1,500 box of useless cream-colored wedding invitations. It all fell apart last night. Thursday, 11:17 p.m. My fiancée Miranda, 30, was in another city for her bachelorette party. It was a 3-day weekend thing with her friends, led by her maid of honor, Becca. I was fine with it. Honestly, I was enjoying the quiet. I was probably half asleep playing a video game when my phone lit up. It was a text from Miranda. Miranda, hey, so this is super awkward lol, but I ran into Julian. Ended up back at his hotel and we accidentally slept together. It just made me realize I'm not over him. We talked all night and we're getting back together. Sorry this is so last minute. We're flying to the coast tomorrow, so I won't be back. I stared at that. Accidentally slept together. No. Sorry this is so last minute. My stomach didn't drop. I didn't get angry. It was cold. Like my entire circulatory system just got an anti-freeze flush. I read it 3 or 4 times. Then the follow-up text came through as I was still processing the first one. B2W, I'm keeping the ring. It's a clean break gift, and I can probably use it for my future with Julian. Don't try to contact me, it's better this way. Becca will swing by for my stuff sometime next week. I am keeping the ring for future. The ring. The $80,000, 3.5 carat custom-designed monstrosity she'd picked out. The one she insisted on. And this is the part where the story gets specific. Miranda is obsessed with appearances, credit, and status. She has a decent job in luxury branding, but her spending is astronomical. When we went to the jeweler, a very high-end exclusive place, she had a plan. Leo, darling, she'd said, it's my ring. I want it on my credit. I'm building my portfolio, and a high-limit revolving line from a place like this looks incredible. I, being the supportive, trusting idiot, agreed. She opened the store's credit line, in her name only. The $80,000 charge hit her account. The agreement was simple. It was her debt, her status item, but I, as her fiancé, would gift her the monthly payments. I set up a recurring $2,500 month payment from my bank account directly to her jeweler credit line. We'd been paying it for 4 months. I looked at her text again. I am keeping the ring. I typed back one word. Me thanks. She must have been confused by that, but I didn't care. I opened my banking app, found the recurring payment of $2,500 labeled Miranda Ring, canceled it, effective immediately. Then I opened my email. I pulled up the most recent statement from the jeweler. I attached the PDF to a new message to Miranda. Subject, our arrangement body. Per your text, our arrangement is over. This is all yours now. Thanks. I hit send. Then I got to work. It was almost midnight, but I felt wide awake. Condo. We live in my condo. I bought it 5 years before I met her. My name is the only one on the deed and the mortgage. She pays me a small, under-market rent for her half of the utilities. I changed the smart lock code on the front door. Lawyer. I emailed a lawyer my brother used for his divorce. Need immediate consultation re broken engagement, cohabitation, and asset protection. She is not on the deed. She has left the state with her ex. Please call me. Wedding. I opened our shared wedding spreadsheet. Caterer, $20,000. Venue, $30,000. Band, $8,000. We'd already paid non-refundable deposits on all of them, totaling around $15,000, all from my accounts. That money is just gone. Vaporized. I spent an hour emailing every single vendor. Per the dissolution of my engagement, I am canceling the event scheduled for date. I understand all deposits are non-refundable as per our contract. Please confirm cancellation. The only shared thing we had was a streaming service bundle, which was in my name. I logged out all devices and changed the password. By 2 a.m., I was done. I looked at the box of invitations on the dining table. I picked it up, walked it to the building's recycling chute, and dropped it in. I slept for 3 hours. Woke up, made coffee, and saw my lawyer had already replied, asking for a 9 a.m. call. The silence in the condo feels good. But I'm out $15,000 in deposits, plus the $10,000 I'd already paid towards her ring. It's a $25,000 lesson in trusting the wrong person. But the real show, I suspect, hasn't started. The next ring payment is due in 5 days. She's currently on a plane to the coast with Julian, probably admiring her $80,000 ring, not realizing her credit line is about to send her a very polite, very firm payment due notification. And I'm just waiting. Update 1: It's been 6 days. The quiet period is officially over and the entitlement has made landfall. My lawyer Alex has been fantastic. He confirmed that since she's not on the deed, she has 0 rights to the condo. She is a tenant at will. And since she sent a text message stating her intent to not return, she essentially abandoned her tenancy. He still advised sending a formal certified letter to her last known address, my condo, and her parents' address, giving her 30 days to retrieve her documented belongings or they would be considered abandoned. We did that immediately. The first 5 days were blissfully silent. I dealt with the fallout. I called my parents and my brother. They were shocked, then furious, then supportive. My mom cried a little, not for Miranda, but for the $15,000 deposit I lost. Then came Tuesday, payment due date. I was at work, trying to focus on a quarterly logistics report, when my phone started vibrating on the desk. It was Becca, the maid of honor. I let it go to voicemail. Voicemail: Leo, hey, so Miranda is having some kind of issue. Her card got declined at dinner, and she got some email from the jeweler saying her payment is late. She's freaking out. She said you always pay it. Did you forget? Can you just pay it? This is really embarrassing for her. Julian had to pay for dinner. Call me. Embarrassing for her. I deleted the voicemail. An hour later, Miranda's mother, Celeste, called. I knew I had to take this one. Celeste is a piece of work. Leo, darling, she started, her voice full of fake sugar. I'm hearing some very confusing things from Miranda. She's on her trip, just relaxing before the big day. Celeste, I cut her off. There is no big day. Miranda ended our engagement via text message last Thursday. She's with her ex, Julian. The line went silent for a solid 10 seconds. Well, she finally said, her voice turning sharp. That's a discussion for later. The immediate problem, Leo, is that you seem to have forgotten a payment. Miranda is very distressed. She got a notification about her credit. You know how important her credit is. You need to fix this now. There's nothing to fix, Celeste. The ring is her property. The credit line is in her name. My gift payments were contingent on the engagement, which she terminated. A gift? She scoffed. Leo, you're not a child. You can't just take back a gift. You promised to pay for that ring. You are obligated to pay for that ring. It was part of the engagement. You're trying to punish her for a little wobble. A wobble? She's on the coast with him. She told me she was keeping the ring to use with him. She can pay for it. Leo, you are being unbelievably petty and cruel, she shrieked. She doesn't have $2,500 a month just lying around. You know her budget. Julian certainly can't afford it. You've trapped her. I've trapped her. By stopping payment on a debt she opened for a ring she is keeping to be with a man she cheated on me with. The logic was breathtaking. Celeste, this conversation is over. From now on, Miranda and you can direct all communication to my lawyer, Alex. A lawyer? A lawyer? You're bringing lawyers into this? Over a ring? No, over her abandoning her tenancy and to schedule the retrieval of her belongings. He'll be happy to discuss the ring with her lawyer, too, if she'd like. Goodbye. I hung up and blocked her number. The main event happened at 8 p.m. last night. I was watching TV when my building's intercom buzzed. It was Miranda. She was back. And she was not happy. Intercom. Leo, open the damn door. The code isn't working. I picked up the intercom receiver. All communication goes through my lawyer, Miranda. You're not on the lease. Intercom. What the hell are you talking about? My stuff is in there. My clothes, my laptop. Open the door, you psycho. You abandoned your tenancy. You need to schedule a pickup time with Alex. He's available tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. for a civil standby. A civil standby? Are you kidding me? I'm calling the police, you abusive ass. Okay. I hung up the intercom. Sure enough, 30 minutes later, 2 police officers were at my door. I buzzed them into the building lobby and met them in the hallway. Miranda was there, teary-eyed and furious. Julian was with her, looking smug and holding her hand. Sir, we got a call about an illegal eviction, the older officer said, looking tired. This lady says you've locked her out of her home. Good evening, officers, I said calmly. This is my condo. I am the sole owner. I handed him a copy of my deed, which Alex told me to keep handy. Ms. Miranda here was my fiancée and a tenant at will. Last Thursday, she sent me this text message. I showed him the phone. The text about leaving, not coming back, and taking the ring. This text states her clear intent to abandon the residence, I said. My lawyer has already sent a certified letter for her to retrieve her belongings, which I have not touched. She needs to schedule a time. The officer read the text. He read it again. He looked at Miranda. Ma'am, this text says you're not coming back. He's twisting my words, Miranda wailed. I was emotional. He's punishing me. He's stolen my ring. Julian stepped up. Yeah, man, he's holding her $80,000 ring hostage. I have not, I said. She has the ring. She's wearing it. The cops looked at her hand. There it was. The dispute, I explained, is that she opened an $80,000 credit line in her own name to purchase that ring, and I was gifting her the payments. I stopped the payments when she ended the engagement. The debt is, and always has been, legally hers. The smug look on Julian's face just evaporated. He looked at the ring on her finger like it was a grenade. Ma'am, the officer said, sighing, this is a civil matter. A clear civil matter. We can't force him to let you in. You need to go through your lawyer, like he said, and schedule a time to get your property. We can be present for that to ensure there's no trouble. So I'm homeless? She shrieked. You're staying with me, babe, Julian muttered. But he looked sick. You need to leave the property, ma'am, the officer said. This is his home, not yours. They left. Miranda shot me a look that could curdle milk. As they walked to the elevator, I heard Julian hiss at her. The debt is in your name? You told me he bought it for you. The elevator doors closed. So now she's with Julian, who clearly didn't sign up for an $80,000 debt. The late fees and interest are already piling up. Her credit is about to be torpedoed, and she has to hire a lawyer just to get her designer shoes back. I'm still out $25,000. But watching Julian's face when he realized his new girlfriend's asset was actually a massive, high-interest liability, that was worth at least $5,000. Update 2. It's been 2 weeks. The escalation has moved from shouting in the hallway to the cold, passive-aggressive warfare of lawyers' letters, and the entitlement has reached levels I truly didn't think were possible. First, the dirty tricks that Alex had warned me about began, but not the ones I expected. No social media blasts, no calls to my boss. Miranda is too image-conscious for that. Her attacks were more insidious. Trick 1. The mail fraud. A few days after the police incident, I started getting her mail. Mountains of it. She'd clearly gone online and changed her address for everything back to my condo. Credit card statements, plural, fashion catalogs, subscription boxes. It was a deliberate attempt to re-establish tenancy, a paper trail to prove she lived here. Alex's response was simple. We bundled everything, unopened, into a large box. Wrote, "Return to sender. Recipient does not reside at this address on everything," and mailed it back. We also sent a formal letter from Alex to her, CO her parents' address, where she's apparently staying, stating that any further mail sent to my address would be considered harassment and we would file a formal complaint. Trick 2. The sympathy play. I got an email from our wedding photographer. Dear Leo, I was so terribly sorry to hear about the cancellation. I've been in touch with Miranda, and she explained the situation and how you've been struggling. As I know, the $2,000 deposit is non-refundable. I'd like to offer a compromise. I can credit that $2,000 towards a new beginnings photo shoot for Miranda and her new partner. She seems so happy, and I just want to support her during this difficult transition. She had called our vendors, played the victim, and was trying to transfer my lost deposit to a photo shoot with Julian. Alex shut this down with a single email. My client's deposit is not transferable to Miss Miranda or her new partner. Any attempt to repurpose my client's funds for her benefit will be considered conversion. The cancellation stands as per the contract. The photographer apologized immediately, saying he'd been misled. Trick 3. The big one. The legal demand. This is where it gets truly wild. Alex received a formal demand letter from Miranda's new lawyer. I'm summarizing, but this was the gist. Unlawful eviction. She claims my changing the locks was an unlawful eviction, and that her text was written under duress and emotional distress. She's demanding $10,000 in damages for alternative lodging, aka staying with her mom, and emotional pain. Property. She's claiming half the furniture in the condo, the high-end sound system, and a piece of art I bought 2 years ago, claiming they were all gifts to her. The ring, this is the best part. She admits the credit line is in her name. However, she claims I fraudulently induced her into opening it with a verbal contract to make all payments. She is demanding I either A. Assume the full $80,000 debt immediately, B. Pay her a lump sum of $120,000, 80 K for the ring plus 40 K for punitive damages and credit reputation repair, so she can pay it off. She is, in essence, suing me to pay for the ring she is keeping, which she is wearing while living with her ex. I actually laughed. Alex just smiled. Our response was, as he put it, a precision strike. On eviction, we attached her text. The phrases "lol" and "sorry this is so last minute" are not indicative of a person under duress. She clearly stated her intent to abandon the residence. We also noted the police report where the officers deemed it a civil matter. On property, we attached the credit card and bank statements for the sound system, the furniture, and the art, all purchased from my accounts before she even moved in. Miss Miranda is welcome to her personal belongings, clothes, toiletries, laptop, but she is not entitled to Mr. Leo's personal property. Her claims are frivolous. On the ring, this was Alex's masterpiece. Your client, a professional in luxury branding, willfully and eagerly opened a line of credit in her own name to build her portfolio. She is a sophisticated party to that agreement. My client's gift payments were a conditional gift, with the condition being the marriage. Your client unilaterally broke that condition. By her own admission in her text message, see Exhibit A, she is keeping the ring. She cannot simultaneously keep the asset and discard the liability. My client's thanks, see Exhibit B, was his formal acceptance of her new terms. The debt is hers. Any further claims on this matter will be met with a countersuit for harassment and legal fees. The immediate fallout was radio silence for 48 hours. Then Julian called me from a blocked number. Man, you have to help me, he sounded desperate. She's insane. She's getting calls from the jeweler non-stop. Collection agencies. It's only been 2 weeks. They're high interest, man. She told me it was paid for. I can't be part of this. That sounds like a you and her problem, Julian. No, listen, she wants to sell it. But she took it to a jeweler here, and they said resale on a custom piece like that it's like $30,000, tops. She's $50,000 in the hole. She's screaming and crying all day. Her credit is already shot. She can't even get a new credit card. You gotta just pay it. For her. You loved her, right? You're ruining her life. I'm ruining her life? By not paying for the ring she's wearing while living with you? This conversation is over. I hung up. So the reality has hit. The $80,000 ring has a resale value of $30,000. She's missed the first payment. Her interest rate has probably skyrocketed to the penalty APR, which on those store cards is 29.99%. She is $50,000 plus in debt. The debt is growing daily, her credit is in the sewer, and her new future just called me to beg me to fix it. The civil standby to get her stuff is this Friday. I'm almost looking forward to it. Final update, this is it. The last chapter. It's over. Friday morning. The civil standby. Alex told me to be polite, non-confrontational, and to have everything of hers packed, itemized, and by the door. I spent Thursday night doing just that. Clothes, shoes, 15 kinds of face cream, her laptop, her curling irons. I boxed it all. It filled 14 boxes. At 10 a.m. sharp, the police officer, the same tired one from before, and Alex were at my door. Miranda, Celeste, and Becca were in the hallway. Julian was nowhere to be seen. Good for him, I guess. He learned faster than I did. All right, the officer said. Mr. Leo will remain inside his apartment. Ms. Miranda, you and your helpers can retrieve the boxes by the door. You will not step further into the apartment. You will not harass him. You get your things and you leave. Understand? Miranda was pale and her eyes were puffy. She just nodded, refusing to look at me. Celeste, however, looked ready for war. I opened the door. They saw the stack of 14 boxes. That's it? Becca snapped. She has way more stuff than that. Her possessions are in those boxes, I said. Everything on the list she provided her lawyer. As they started grabbing boxes, Celeste accidentally tried to walk past me into the living room. I just need to check the bathroom for her. Alex stepped in front of her. Ma'am, you will remain in the entryway. This is ridiculous, Celeste snapped. He's probably kept all her valuable things. Like what? I asked. The serving platter my grandmother gave her. It's in box 4, I said, labeled kitchen. Miranda was silent, just grabbing boxes and hauling them to the elevator. But as she grabbed the last one, a small box with her jewelry, the non-ring kind, and makeup, she stopped. She finally looked at me. You did this, she whispered, her voice shaking with rage. Did what, Miranda? You planned this. You knew I'd be ruined. You let me take on that debt. I was stunned. I let you? Miranda, you insisted. You demanded it. You told me it was for your credit portfolio. You should have stopped me, she shrieked, and the tears started. You knew I couldn't afford it if you set me up. You set me up to fail. I set you up by agreeing to your plan and making the payments for you. You were supposed to love me. You were supposed to take care of me. Even if I messed up. You're a monster. Celeste put her arm around her. It's okay, baby. We'll sue him for every penny. This is emotional abuse, what he's done. Alex actually sighed. Celeste, the time for threats is over. You have your belongings. You need to leave. Now, or the officer will escort you out. The officer nodded. Miranda looked at me one last time. I hope you're happy, Leo. You in your empty, sterile apartment. You won. You ruined my life. I have nothing. You have the ring, Miranda, I said, pointing to her hand. She looked at it like it was radioactive. They left. The officer thanked Alex, nodded at me, and left. Alex and I stood in the empty entryway. Well, he said, straightening his tie. That was something. She really believes it, doesn't she? That you're the villain. Yeah, I said. She does. Don't worry about the threats, Alex said. She's got no case. She's got no money for a retainer. She's done. That jeweler, though, they are not done with her. She'll likely have to declare bankruptcy before she's 31. And the ring? She'll have to surrender it in the bankruptcy, and it'll be auctioned off for pennies on the dollar, but the debt will be gone. She'll get her fresh start, with a credit score in the 400s. He left. I closed my door. The chain lock clicked into place. The silence was loud. I'm still out the $25,000. That hurts. It's a significant, stupid loss. It's the price of admission for this lesson. I'm not happy. I'm not celebrating. I just feel tired and empty. But I also feel free. I don't know what happens to Miranda. I heard from my brother, who heard it from a friend, that Julian blocked her on everything. Her mom is apparently trying to take out a second mortgage to pay the jeweler, but they won't settle. They want the full amount plus fees, which are now approaching $6,000 in interest and penalties. She's trapped in a prison of her own design, built on status and entitlement. I won, I guess. But it doesn't feel like a victory. It just feels like the end. I'm taking a week off work. I'm going to paint the living room. Then I'm going to see my parents. I'm done with this. To anyone reading this, trust your gut. If someone's obsession with the image of a life is stronger than their respect for you, run. Just run.